G'day! Welcome to the Nerdy Dad channel, and the third in the series of rewind reviews for the first season of The Bad Batch. The season's over a year old, but I'm still going to flash up a spoiler warning, just in case. The third episode of The Bad Batch is called Replacements, and is directed by Brad Rowell and Nathaniel Villanueva. The structure of this episode is such that two storylines intercut with each other. Crosshair and a squad of recruits have a storyline. Omega and the rest of the Batch have a storyline. Up front, while I like the main Batch storyline well enough, and it is important to the arcs of particularly Omega and Hunter, to me, the Crosshair storyline is by far the more impactful. Now, while cutting between storylines worked in the episode, for ease of discussion, I'm going to talk about the episode by storyline, rather than chronologically how it flowed in the episode. While Omega does not take Crosshair's role in the squad, and the Batch feel their brother's absence keenly, Omega in some way has still replaced Crosshair on the Marauder. At the start of the episode, Omega hasn't even got a place to sleep. She sleeps on the floor, in amongst the Batch's gear, and she's not sure, of a place on the squad. The Marauder was damaged when the Batch fled Seleucami, and it isn't far into the episode when Omega experiences her first crash landing. Now, during that crash landing, Wrecker hits his head. Let's put a pin on that for a future episode. Just prior to the crash, we learn that Tech has been focused on building a scanner for testing the functionality of their inhibitor chips. Now, let's likewise put a pin in that for another day. The atmosphere of the planet or the moon that they crash on is not breathable, and that comes important later. Tech and Echo work to repair the ship. Now, while they're doing that, an auto Moondragon steals a capacitor. Now, that's essential to the ship's operation, so they have to track it down. Omega convinces Hunter to let her go with him when he hunts the creature to retrieve the part. The Moondragon manages to knock Hunter's mask off, and he falls unconscious. Omega retrieves his mask, but he's still unconscious. Omega tries and fails to contact the other members of the Batch. So, rather than staying with Hunter, she takes it on herself to retrieve the capacitor herself. When Hunter comes to, he realizes that Omega is missing, and of course is worried. But Omega has found out that the Moondragon can be distracted by anything that holds a charge, so she throws the torch at it and takes back the capacitor. The episode ends with the reveal that Wrecker has converted the tail gun bay into a room for Omega, and we again get confirmation from Hunter that she is part of the squad. So that's where the episode ends, but we've got another arc to look at. Good soldiers follow orders. Admiral Rampart, who we first see in the chaincode vid on Seleucami, is on Camino to implement Project Warmantle. Now, Project Warmantle is to train elite soldiers under experienced clone commanders. In this case, Crosshair. Now, we first saw Project Warmantle referenced in Rogue One. It was a file in the same vault on Scarif that the Death Star plans were held in. Crosshair's new squad is likewise a replacement for the Batch. Look, they're definitely not his brothers, but he has a new squad, and as with the Bad Batch, this new squad is sent to Onderon as a test. On the way, one of the squad has a problem with Crosshair being in charge. Look, he questions Crosshair, if you guys are so efficient, how come the Empire's scouting soldiers like us? Now, despite being a biased, opinionated jerk, he apparently has a conscience. This time, Saw and the majority of his partisans have left. However, once again, among those who remain are a large number of civilians who have no way to defend themselves. The soldier who challenged Crosshair not only refused to shoot the civilians himself, but he told his fellow squad mates to stand down. But Crosshair shoots him and tells the rest of the squad that good soldiers follow orders. They slaughter the civilians and return to Camino. The new squad are housed in the Batch's old quarters. The last shot from this arc that we see, the last shot from this arc that we see is Crosshair sitting on his bunk looking dejected. And now there is one more storyline that I want to briefly mention, and that is the Kaminoans. Specifically the Prime Minister Lama Su and the Chief Medical Scientist Nala Se. The Prime Minister realizes that the goal of Rampart's operation is to replace the clones, and he fears for the future of their operation. They need to make the clones integral to the Empire, but with the original genetic material of Jango Fett degrading, they need Omega. Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, give it a like. And I hope you'll all join me again on Tuesday for another rewatch review when I take a look at the 4th episode in the series, Cornered. This is the Nerdy Dad, signing off.